I'm not a character. I'm not a well-developed character. This is a fucking horror story, right? I wish that I wasn't a fucking autist doing this rant right now. I wish I was walking around the dining hall like a normal kid, like a normal motherfucker, hanging out with my buddies in college, right? Even if it's cope, even if college is the dumbest fucking thing known to man, I wish I had that experience, and you guys took that away from me. So this is what you get. This is not character development. This is a horror story.
Manipulated me. I keep falling for it. Can't do this. Can't do this. It's like, yeah, I live with my grandma. Yeah, I miss living with my grandma. I like hanging out with my grandma more than I like hanging out with anyone these days, to be honest with you. I'd rather go back to that.
I live in a luxury condominium in downtown Miami, the penthouse. My name is Clavicular. I'm 20 years old. I believe in the looks maxing. The idea of maximizing physical attractiveness by any means necessary in order to ascend.
You know, in my view, the reason why I wanted to try to, I guess, present and compile those two clavicular clips, even though they might not seem, I guess, the most, or some like, I guess, the most paramount clips to the argument of why we have this gross, stinking, fucking abominable, disgusting, stinky corpse of, I guess, the American masculinity experience, I guess, like what it's like to be a man today. It's not because of solely clavicular, right? The main reason why being a man in America sucks is because the bottom 20% are outmatched by the top 1% 203 times to 1. Like, the top 1% makes 203 times more, that's the number off the top of my head, than the bottom 20% of society. That is the main reason as to why being a man in this fucking country is so fucking god-awful and ridiculous, as well as mental health, economic inequality, which I've just mentioned, and a couple other factors in which I'll get into to explain why being a man is just, as I said, fucking impossible in today's society. But in my view, clavicular is an excellent case study as to what our culture breeds and produces. Clavicular is not, in my view, extraordinary, right? I mean, yes, as a person, yes, there are things that are, I guess, different about him, right? But to me, someone like him gaining influence, he's not the problem, he's just the symptom, so to speak, and we'll get into that. And like, the reason why I wanted to show those clips specifically is because it's kind of this duality of a lot of guys that I see like clavicular, and you don't have to, of course, I don't know clavicular as a person, or Braden Peters, that's his real fucking government name. Do I have to keep saying clavicular? No? Okay, I'm gonna say Braden Peters. So, you don't have to know Braden Peters himself, but I guarantee you, at least in your personal life, you know at least a couple other people who share similar qualities with Braden Peters, right? Who, like, on any level, whether it's the ingrained hatred, or misogyny, or homophobia, or racism, or the fucking need, like the childlike need for acceptance and I guess the want of love that you can never get from people, right? Like that shit. We all know people like that, but I think the clip where you know, clavicular, if you go up to him in Paris or wherever the fuck he is right now, he'd be like, no, actually, what I did in college was cope, and I'm mogging, and it's fucking gay, and you're just a fucking autist void, right? But I think that clip really, when he was talking about what he is and what he's becoming is sort of a horror story. I think that was him having a unique moment of candidness, and I think that the clips that follow up where he's talking about how he just wishes he could go live and spend time with his grandma because she was like one of the only people who cared about him. That's not him fucking bullshitting. That's him being genuine and actually being human and letting the mask slip. And the mask, to me, is very important, is these guys, right, who are clearly so underdeveloped, who clearly have so many fucking mommy and daddy issues, who really do not know how to function as fucking humans, right? They're objectively horrible people, right? And then they're so superficial. Like, of course, everybody has insecurities. I have insecurities. My skin, my weight, glasses, different shit, right? I'm autistic like Clavicular is, but do you see me saying racial slurs and calling women fucking foids and cheating on my girlfriend? No, you don't see that, because I'm a well-adjusted person. He isn't, right? Looks maxers aren't. And I just think it's so interesting how in the following clip, they sit there and it's sort of ironic, like a weirdly twisted but beautiful irony where they'll sort of embrace the American Psycho, like the Patrick Bateman shit, like where Braden Peters is talking about how my ratios are almost golden as he beats his face, right? Which is hilarious to me, of course, and it's hilarious probably to you too if you have a fucking developed frontal lobe, because you realize that American Psycho is making fun of these motherfuckers about the superficiality, I don't know if that's a word, but the superficialness of these guys, how all they care about is their looks and their fucking business card. I know it's a phone, but their business card, or their fucking, what type of designer bullshit they have, right? Or whatever bullshit. And how really, at the end of the day, these guys that are so superficial, there's nothing to them. They're just empty husks, almost psychopaths. Like they're trying to imitate what they think a successful human is. But if you look at the online dating space, or how a lot of men are, right? American Psycho wasn't really, what it was back then. Raw, fucking funny, right? It's more so kind of just in a fucked up way what the gold standard is for men today, right? Oh, I'm fucking born again hard, alright? Fucking self-sufficiency. If you're not fucking 20, and if you don't have at least a fucking drop shipping site, and if you're not a fucking stockbroker in New York who's 6'4", with fucking rock hard fucking abs, you're a fucking failure. Like, which is such a weird, dystopian, disgusting concept to me, but in my view, that's because of capitalism, right? That's because there's so much wealth inequality that forces men to have these ridiculous fucking standards. Try to capture this as quickly and concisely as I can in under 3 minutes, because I don't want to make a fucking 30-minute long video about Clavicular. So, when you have a society that's very atomized, and what do I mean by atomized? When you have a dating market where you have to pay a premium to get your fucking profile shown to more people so you can potentially get a match on dating apps where it's mostly dominated by men, right? Where the economy's shit and the upper, like the wealthiest people in society, like the Jeffrey Epstein pedophile class, make 234 times what you could make in a lifetime, right? You feel very atomized and you feel very alone. So that loneliness where you feel like you have no community, you have no friends, you have no job prospects because the economy's shit, where there's foreign wars and the Epstein class is fucking raping little girls, right? Where when you have all of those things around you and you feel like, what the fuck is the point? I can't control any of it. I'm only one person. What can I do? You feel very lonely and you feel kind of like a singular atom, like a speck, like a grain of dust. You become atomized. And in that atomization, right, stay with me, you pick up the hammer. Right? You pick up the hammer and you bone smash and you bone smash and you bone smash because you think that at the end of this psychotic, fucking self-loathing, gross, like self-aggrandizing fucking rituals of bone smashing and looks maxing that Clavicular and all those fucking abject, other lonely, lost little boys push, you think that self-improvement, this gross version of self-improvement will lead to some sort of salvation, when at the end of the day, all you end up doing is being more lonelier and more lonelier. So eventually you look like a fucking botch job like Clavicular, and you end up living in Miami where nobody around you really cares about you and they only want your money. Like Clavicular, right? You think anybody actually in his circle cares about him? No. Like, when he overdosed, right? Androgenic, supposedly one of his fucking close friends says, yo, bro, you want another Addy? Do you want an Adderall? Like, what the fuck is that? Because these guys are so atomized, and we have a system under capitalism where that atomization is just pushed and pushed and pushed. Okay, and so to close, I want to make this quick, voice crack, quick. I know I've already started and yapped a lot, but to me, I want to offer a alternative solution, sort of a green pill, I guess, to the black pill movement, right? Which is, instead of smashing your face with a hammer or calling women female humanoids, better known as voids, or raping women or calling people the N-word and for clicks like Chud the Builder, maybe you should try to do the best you can. And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but try to get up, try to make your bed, put on deodorant, put on a nicely ironed shirt, right? Try to have a skincare routine, right? Try to go to the gym. I've lost 60 pounds. I don't look how I want to look. I have body dysmorphia like everybody else does. But at the end of the day, it's about trying. It's about waking up and knowing that you don't know everything, right? But putting one foot in front of the other and trying the best because you hope for a better future, and having goals and trying to take dignity and pride in the small things, in the things that you can control, like your room, like your clothes, like the way you dress, like your appearance, right? And trying to strive better, whether it's in the job market, whether it's higher education, or whether it's just something as simple as getting up and making some oats and eggs in the morning, right? Or even going to the gym, or even getting out of bed. Because at the end of the day, in a world that is just so fucked up and so horrible, I think doing a little better and trying to strive to be better as a man, right? And I think the healthiest form of masculinity in my 17 years is trying to be open with your emotions and trying to communicate with the people around you. Like, it's okay, even though Clavicular and Androgenic and Andrew Tate and Myron will tell you otherwise, it's okay to cry and it's okay to be vulnerable, even though it's really hard, and even though our society as a whole tells us it's not to. It's okay. And at the end of the day, all that truly matters, and what to me, or I think the two things to me that are the most masculine things you can do, is sticking up for those who don't have the rights, or helping those who don't have their voices in any way, whether they're your family or you see someone being mistreated on the street or whatever, right? Sticking up for others. And number two, just being happy and trying to spread love. I'm a big believer in what you give out will be given back to you, right? So just give out love, man. Give out love, and just at the end of the day, just try to be happy and just try to do better.